Hello, my fellow travelers, and welcome to yet another episode here on Strictly Flying. I hope you're doing fantastic. And on today's episode, we are going to be flying from the city of Stavanger here in Norway to Brazil via Oslo and Paris. However, we do have a rather long layover in Oslo, and I will be spending the night at the airport for the very first time. So I'm a bit anxious to see what facilities are available and if I'm even allowed to spend the night in the terminal or if I'll get kicked out by security. And the reason that I'm spending the night at the airport in Oslo is simply due to the fact that Air France, the airline that is going to take me to Brazil, does not fly anymore from the city of Stavanger, nor do any of their partner airlines. Also, the flight from Oslo to Paris, it leaves at 6:30 in the early morning, so obviously there is no way to get from Stavanger to Oslo on the same day and make the flight to Paris. Hotels are also not an option for me since the cheapest hotels cost an average of $180 a night and there are no shuttle buses leaving earlier than 5 o'clock in the early morning. And a taxi would have cost an extra $40. So a night at a hotel would have cost me at least $220, which is not worth it in my opinion, just for a few hours of sleep. I'd rather use that cash for an upgrade to economy comfort class on the long haul leg from Paris to Fortaleza in Brazil. Anyways, our first leg from Oslo is flown by SAS Scandinavian Airlines, a ticket that I purchased separately. I'm already checked in, so let's get on board our aircraft. Our aircraft for today is an Airbus A320neo and has a registration Sierra Echo Romeo Unicorn Alpha. The flight to Oslo is very short and takes just under an hour. On today's flight, I'm seated in the second last row of the aircraft in seat 30F.
Fueling and progress.
Good evening and welcome on board. We are fueling the aircraft right now, so we kindly ask you to open up your seatbelt. Thank you.
Now the leg space on SAS flights is extremely limited, as you can see. I can barely squeeze 2 fingers between my knee and the seat in front of me. However, I got lucky on this flight. As you can see, nobody is going to be sitting beside me. Now, besides the restricted legroom, this rather new Airbus does have a USB output where you may charge your appliances. And apart from that, the seats are comfortable enough for such a short flight.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain. My name is Ole Bakken. I'd like to take the opportunity and bid you welcome on board as well. We have one landing aircraft ahead of us. You can see the lights out of the right-hand window. After that one has landed, we'll increase to max speed and take you to Oslo. I will be back with more information as we get closer to our destination. Have a pleasant flight.
The service on board SAS domestic flights is very limited. However, you do have the option to purchase some snacks and beverages from a menu. Coffee and tea is free of charge. On the approach to Oslo, we got a beautiful view of this city before lining up to land to the north on runway 01 left.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your captain. We have started, or we are 10 minutes out of Oslo Airport, so please check that your seatbelts are properly fastened. Hope you don't mind if we start. Have a good evening.
So here we are. Welcome to Norway's capital city of Oslo. Now is the time to find a place to settle down for the night. On this flight, I don't have any checked-in baggage, so the idea is not to exit the terminal. However, I'm going to try to spend the night inside the terminal on the air side of the airport, as I imagine it will be a lot quieter and there will be a lot less passengers and more seats available to possibly lay down and get some sleep. Well, that's the idea anyways. Let's see what we can find. Almost immediately after entering the terminal building, I stumble upon a quiet rest area, and wouldn't you know it, there was an available seat just waiting for me to settle in for the night. The seats are even reclined and has a power outlet and a table right beside it. Free internet is also available, so this looks very promising indeed. Now, it didn't take long until the terminal was virtually empty. There were some passengers still sleeping in the rest area, so at this point I was pretty certain that nobody was going to kick me out. The only problem was, of course, the cleaning crew that had already started cleaning all of the floors and made a bit of noise. But I guess that is the price you have to pay if you're going to spend the night for free at an airport. I'll be honest and say I didn't get much sleep at all. However, I almost always fall asleep on the plane, so I'll make up for the lack of sleep on the long-haul leg from Paris to Fortaleza. After a night that seemed to never end, it was finally time to leave the domestic terminal and check in for my flight to Paris that leaves at 6:30. I just hope the lounge is open this early so I can at least get a cup of coffee and maybe some breakfast. After exiting the terminal, I'm pretty glad that I decided to stay inside the domestic terminal for the night, as the check-in area was already getting quite busy and noisy. Now, sleep or no sleep, at least it was somewhat quiet despite the cleaning crew working all night. After checking in and finishing my duty-free shopping, I went straight to the lounge. It had just opened its doors and I only had about 20 minutes before boarding would commence, so I basically had some breakfast and left for the gate. Our aircraft that is going to take us to Paris is an older Airbus A319 with the registration Foxtrot Golf Romeo Hotel Zulu, and this aircraft is currently 21 years old. The age of the aircraft is quite noticeable inside the aircraft. The leg space is okay, however there are no power outlets to charge any appliances. But that's okay for this flight, as I'm way too tired to watch anything on my tablet anyways.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Guillaume Schmidt. I'm your captain today on this flight Bombay to Paris Charles de Gaulle with Mart Kuznik, our pilot today. I wish you welcome aboard this Airbus 319. Boarding is completed. The cargo bulk just closed and we'll be ready to leave our stand within a minute for a 1 hour and 15 minutes flight time today to join Paris. A smooth flight is expected at a destination. Weather is cloudy at the time with a temperature expected of 10 degrees at the time of our arrival. I leave you now in the good care of Miss Valérie Delangle, our chief purser, and all our crew, and wish you an excellent flight.
Attention porte.
So here we are. Welcome to Paris. I probably slept over half of the duration of this flight, so I missed the in-flight service altogether. However, I will leave a link to a detailed trip report that I made last year of this exact same flight from Paris to Oslo at the end of the video. Also, if you want to see a detailed trip report of another flight with Air France from Paris to Fortaleza in Brazil, I will also leave a link to that trip report at the end of this video. So this is the time when I say goodbye, but first I'd like to thank you for joining me on yet another trip report here on Strictly Flying. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit that thumbs up and please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already done so. Until the next time guys, safe travels, and hopefully I'll see you soon on the next flight here on Strictly Flying. Stay safe, bye bye.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry.